So this month I finally did something that I always wanted to do, and that is having this tattoo. This is my very first one. It means a lot to me. It goes a little bit deeper for me, but I want to share with you the story. So I would say let's start. I always loved tattoos. As a child, I always loved seeing people having some, and me as an artist, I also admire just tattoos as an art form. So, what kept me from doing it for so long? I am 31 years old and I got my first tattoo now. And there is a simple, short answer. I wasn't growing up in a safe environment to decide over my body, my thoughts, and that included as well having a tattoo. For those that don't know that, I grew up in Germany. I was born in Germany, grew up my whole life there, and then 2 years ago, I moved to Canada. And when I moved to Canada, I feel like I had a bit more time and silence to think about what I want to do with my life and how do I see myself. I think that affected it a lot that I finally had some time to think about everything. So, what kept me from doing it for so long is simply that unfortunately I grew up in a very, very conservative religious household. I was born as a Muslim. Even though I don't identify myself as a Muslim, I actually distance myself from it till I decided to actually leave Islam. And don't get me wrong, this video is not about me criticizing religion or Islam specifically. It is just me and my experience that I had within that household. So please don't take it wrong. I had a lot of restrictions, not only what I was allowed to think about, to say, or to practice and not to do, what to eat. I also had restrictions about what to wear. How do I look? What do I wear when I leave the house? I think a lot of girls can relate to me when I say it affected me really, really negatively in my self esteem and how I view myself, my worth, and my body. So I simply had to cover up everything, um, but not my hair. I had to cover up my full neck. I was allowed to wear t shirts, but for some reason they haven't been allowed to be tight. Of course, no belly, so no crop tops, no dresses with a lower back or something. So everything had to cover up simply, but you're allowed to see my hands, a little bit of my arm. Um, yeah, not even my legs. So no mini skirts, no shorts, and nothing tight. So my whole fit was very loose. It definitely wasn't my style. I always wanted to look girly. I wanted to feel girly, but yeah, I had all these restrictions that made me at the end really, really sad. And of course, if you're not allowed to wear what you want, and also not to communicate that or to question that, without being in trouble, you are definitely not thinking about tattoos, right? If my biggest problem was in puberty not being able to wear what I want, yeah, I won't think bigger. So yeah, I think it makes kind of sense why this tattoo means so much to me. Because for me, it felt suddenly so empowering to decide over my own body, to decide what I want to do with my body. Actually, I was super scared to do that. And that was not because of the pain, but it was more of the guilt I always have been feeling. Not only from not only from my parents' house, it was mostly my father, by the way, but it's also the whole community, And my father was a very, very, I want to say, well known person in his community. So wherever I go, when I went to school, I've seen a lot of these people in that community. I felt like also there are always people watching me. They're all kind of sneaky, so they would even talk about each other, and they would probably go to my dad and say something. If I would have been with friends, they would just say something that I didn't do just so I'm in trouble. It was actually a very, very toxic community, I want to say, and I feel like he had a lot of power in that community, sadly, and a lot of power over me. So imagine you have to wait 31 years to feel free and to be finally able to decide over your body what you want to do with it. So I went for this tattoo to Toronto. I wanted a specific tattoo artist that is focusing on fine line art because I kind of want to do everything kind of looking a bit more elegant. I have this now, I want to have it on the shoulder. So it's going to be a little bit more of a bigger project. And I want to go back to her all the time. I feel like already the drive was for me very emotional because I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing it. I felt so weird. Okay. It's like when you're looking forward to do something for so long and it was always just like a thought or a dream, and you're actually physically on your way to do it. It feels so weird. I was so spooked. And the tattoo artist, she is such a cool person, and she took care of me very, very well, because that was also my first tattoo and I was a little bit scared. I honestly had a little meltdown because I felt like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. So the actual tattoo wasn't painful at all, I think. I'm not sure if that's true, but I was reading that fine line art in general is not as painful as normal regular tattoos. If that's wrong, I'm really sorry. Also, we had a lot of small details. So what was really cool, I have here like a few dots, and she started first with the little dots, and to test how my pain level is. Like, I felt a little bit uncomfortable, but it was okay. I was able to manage it really well. I have these little sakura flowers here. She showed it to me and I felt like that was so pretty. I feel like I saw everything is coming together. And I want to be really honest, I feel like it didn't take that long. I think my appointment started at 3 and we have been done at 6. My partner, my husband Justin, was there as well. He recorded a little bit, and I felt like having him there, being a part of this journey, was also very special to me. I feel like I was so happy and so lucky to have just the right people around me. I feel like it was so special because I was finally creating beautiful moments. I had so many bad memories from my past. Guys, I was so happy. That was such a good day. Also, I don't know if you've really seen the tattoo itself. I have 3 cherry blossoms and some petals and some little details like stars and dots. So when I had a really, really hard time, and that was a little bit before I moved to Canada, actually the first time when I visited Canada, so it has been like 2 years before that, I started to draw again. I was very stressed, I was very anxious, and I've been starting to draw flowers again. So I always started, when I didn't know what to draw, I started to draw flowers like the cherry blossom. I feel like since that, it defines a lot of my art. It is very pinkish, it is very pastel-y, and it kind of symbolized for me a new chapter of my life and also a big change. I can't tell you how happy I am. I am so happy that I'm finally able to choose myself and what to do with my body and to choose me. And this is such a big thing. I wish I could tell young Nora that things are gonna be fine. We're gonna be in a safe environment where we're able to express ourselves how we want. I wish I could tell young Nora we're going to share these stories with the world on YouTube. And I wish I could give young Nora a good hug. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video like that. And I'm gonna hug you too. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.
Until now, it's like this family, like the couple, and then they have